Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, and today I'm going to be using my brand new Fierce collection to create a really cool interactive accordion album. And you can see I have a bunch of 4x4 squares that I cut out of the pattern cards from the Fierce collection, and on all of them I have cut out hearts out of the middle. So I have the hearts here as well, and I think what I'm gonna do is I want it to be an accordion album, obviously, but I also want there to be some interactivity as far as like flip ups like this. You can see I have more patterns on the back here. So I think I want to sandwich these together and maybe even put some glitter in between and make them like just flip up pockets with glitter. And then for some of these, I'll be putting pictures behind them. Some of them I'll just be decorating. I think I'm just gonna document our, maybe our first Pride that we went to when we came to Tennessee. I'm not sure yet, but it's going to be something along those lines. So I'm gonna start assembling this, and I'm gonna do the voiceover because I can't think and talk at the same time. So I'm gonna switch over to voiceover to assemble this. All right, let's go. Alright, so assembling this is actually fairly easy, although it did take some time because I had so many pages. I have some cardstock hinges here that I am just scoring down every ½ an inch, and then I cut them in half. I initially was going to have them to be much larger, but I decided that they only needed to be an inch because of that heart cutout. I'm going to have to trim the part that overlaps the heart cutout. So I'm using red line tape in the beginning because I'm like, well, I need this to be really strong. And then I remember that I'm going to sandwich so many layers here that it doesn't really need to be red line tape, and red line tape is kind of a pain in the butt to peel off, and it was driving me crazy. So I decided eventually to just use my tape runner. Now I am adhering the cardstock hinge in between the two layers of cards that I want to have on the front and back of this page. So I sandwich it in between, and then I'm going to trim the excess inside the heart. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the hinge folding the opposite way on the next heart than it did on the first heart, so that it is an accordion album. So if it folded up on the red heart, now it's going to fold down on the yellow heart. And then I'm just going to repeat the process all the way through this album. So I did make a mistake in my own assembly, and you'll see it here in a second, that I want to warn you about so that you don't make the same mistake if you try to make something like this. I end up, after I get this down, I end up doing the top and bottom flaps as well. Top and bottom, just the top flap, the ones that are going to flip up. I'm going to adhere those to this as well as I'm constructing the album. Now what I should have done, because I am going to sandwich acetate in between the layers here and create confetti pockets, is I should have just not completely assembled it. I shouldn't have done this part right here. That way it would have been easier to fully get the acetate down and not have to fight with the album to get the sequin pockets in the album. So here is all of the pages put together. You can see I flip and these flip up, but I really shouldn't have finished it completely, and I'll learn that lesson as soon as I start adhering the acetate and trying to get these sequins in. So the first one that I do, I'm actually going to skip in this video because it was my learning one, and it was my realization that I had done this completely wrong. So I'm just going to take this tape runner, and I'm going to peel this top layer back. Again, if I had not assembled this, it wouldn't have been so hard. And I'm just sticking the acetate down to the bottom layer. Then I'm going to repeat the process again with the top layer, and you can see it's like impossible to get my tape runner up all the way. So I'm going to have a few escapees when I start putting down my putting in my little confetti hearts, which I actually think came from my friend Connie and her Inner Creativity shop, but she doesn't seem to be making things anymore, but I think that's where I got them. They're meant for Valentine's Day, but they work in this album really well. So you can see I'm using foam tape to separate the two layers and create guardrails for my confetti so that it doesn't escape the inside of the heart where I want it to be and like fall down in that bottom corner. So I'm just assembling as well as possible all the guardrails, making sure that there are no gaps between where the foam tape ends and begins again. And then I'm going to dump my sequins in here, and then I will close it. And I have 2 of these confetti pockets now. The last thing I need to do is trim and then use my tape runner and glue the corners together. Super cute though. Look at how adorable that is. Oh my gosh, this album came out so stinking cute. I love it. The little pockets are just an added bonus here. I guess they're not pockets, they're what? Sequin shakers, I guess. But these are not sequins. It's sort of like polymer clay confetti, I think. So, but look how stinking cute. I love it. So I just needed to trim off the excess. There were some overlaps. Just, you know, use your arrow when using the silhouette. Not everything is going to go down perfectly straight. So not all of the hearts lined up perfectly. Not a big deal. Okay, the last pocket, or the last shaker pocket that I made, I'm actually going to take this holographic sticker paper that I bought, and I made holographic stickers. You can see them up in the right hand corner, and I'm just going to adhere to back and just making like a screen, basically a holographic sticker screen, instead of sandwiching anything in between the layers. Of course, once this was stuck together, it was super stuck together. It wasn't perfect. There were some bubbles, but you don't notice in the final construction of the album. I just need it to look perfect-ish in the center. Last thing I'm going to do, glue this down, making sure that everything is straight. Trim it. And now I have my photos, and I realized pretty quickly that I had printed these too large. I printed them 4x4 because the album is 4x4, but you can see they're a little bit big, and I end up having to reprint the solo one of my middle kid because it's just too big. But I make the rest of them work. Initially, I was gonna reprint, not this one, but the other one of the actual parade, because when I put it in the heart, it kind of covers up the person in front's face. But then I realized that I don't really need the person in front's face. I don't know them, and they probably would prefer not to be in my album anyway. So it's okay if I cover up their face, is what I decided. So not a big deal. Just adhering these photos to the back of the page, and my initial thoughts on the back side of this album was just to put down some white cardstock and let it be plain, and you know me, that is not going to fly as soon as I start constructing it. So you'll see what I do on the back here in a few minutes. So I'm just sticking these photos down, and then I'm going to go and reprint the other one because it's just too, it doesn't fit. So when I reprinted, it actually includes a baby Finn and my husband as well, and so it actually worked out pretty well. You can see their faces now and prove that they were at the parade as well. I think I focused mainly on photos of Josiah and I, so there aren't a lot of photos of everybody else. I didn't actually take a lot of photos, which is strange for me, but I didn't, so I didn't have a lot to work with. But look at how stinking cute that is. For the rest of these hearts, I'm going to just back them with some more of the pattern cards from the Fierce collection. And then I will start building, you know, like clusters on top of them when I'm ready to start embellishing. And just making sure there's some overlap, you know, it's just making sure that everything is nice and tight and trimmed up so that it folds and opens really easily. This will also stiffen up as I start adding more cardstock to it, so it won't be such a floppy album, which is nice. It's a little bit floppy right now, but it gets unfloppy. Need one more. I was initially going to go with this blue one, so of course I cut it because I'm a noob. Then I didn't really like it, so I thought that this pink rainbow would be adorable, and it is, and I cut it upside down, so my purple is going to be at the top and my red at the bottom. Not a big deal. Just my little OCD me was like, oh, I did it wrong. Okay, adhering it to the back. See, I could have flipped it upside down and done it, but it didn't look as good, so we're just going to go with purple. All right, so that is most of the album construction. I'm going to switch over to a real-time talk and talk you through what I did off camera. Okie dokie, so here we are on day 2 of this album. I turned off the camera last night and started putting like the white backings on and decided that I didn't like it with just white backings. So I decided to put some decoration on the album on the back. So this is the back side, and I've got these 2 little hearts plus a journaling card. Plus I really like this Traveler's Notebook signature, so I cut it down to a 4x4. It fit perfectly on here. I'm gonna decorate all of this, a couple more photos from the parade that wouldn't fit really well in the album, in the hearts. So I have all of this happening, and I am ready to decorate. I have these holographic stickers that I printed, and there is a reel on my Instagram showing how I made these out of just the printables, and I'm gonna use some of these. I'm gonna use some of the regular stickers as well. I really want to incorporate this, and I didn't think about it ahead of time. So I might cut it down and use it, but then I would have to add like another flap or something, or maybe I'll use it on the back. I don't know. If I trim it down to, it'll go exactly 4x4, so I don't know if I want to do that. I do have this in a sticker form, but it doesn't say this y'all means all, which is kind of what I want, so I'm not quite sure yet, but let's get to decorating. So I didn't end up using that y'all means all, even though I really wanted to. I just wasn't able to make it incorporate well, and I just really wanted to focus on decorating with stickers and stuff. I have these Citrus Twist puffy stickers and chipboard stickers, and I'm going to be using like some of the hearts and things on. I did pull off a few word bits as well, but I don't think I really end up using too much of it. But I do use a lot of the puffy hearts. I'm going to put things down and pull things back up again because it's how I roll, but mainly what I'm just trying to do here is make it cute, right? So I already really love the way that the album looks with, you know, just the hearts and the patterns and all of the beautiful stuff that's going on. But, you know, if I like that much, I'll like the rest even better too. So I'm starting with the holographic stickers just because they were on my my desk, and so I knew that I could play with them easily. And then I start getting out the cardstock stickers from the sticker sheets, and some of these stickers I'm gonna let span both pages because I know that when I open it, at least I definitely open it wide, and I like flipping through it like closed, and so it's a little square, but I also like opening it up wide as like a big long accordion that it is. So if it spans both pages, you'll be able to read it still. I'm going to put in the Proud Dad and Proud Mom. We were there in support of our middle kid who had come out that year. My oldest had not come out yet, so we were there supporting him, and so I really wanted to make sure we emphasize that with the Proud Mom and Proud Dad stuff. But then I also was there for myself, my best friend. You know, we were there. We were enjoying Pride. This was actually our first Pride parade. I'd wanted to go to Pride in Sacramento when we lived in California, but the Sacramento Pride is just, it's huge, and it always felt a bit overwhelming to me with small kids. The Knoxville one is a lot smaller, so it didn't feel as overwhelming. And since my middle kid had come out, it was a perfect year to go do it. So I liked the idea of stacking these like protest signs plus the flag, but I couldn't get it working with both flags the way I liked it. So I'm just gonna go with the one flag. And then I like having some stickers on top of these hearts. I don't always like putting things on the acetate and the clear stuff because I don't like seeing the back of things, but this was fine for me. The sequins, or not sequins, but the little clay confetti and the holographic stuff just made it all right for me visually. I'm gonna add in some hearts as well. Just working my way through everything on my desk, auditioning things as they come along, rejecting things as they come along as well. I'm going to flip back and forth between the different sides over and over again. It is just, that's how I roll. I don't focus on one page at a time. I more focus on going through the product and making the product work on the page rather than making the page finished, right? So I also wanted to include the free mom hugs and this dad's so proud of you. I often feel like we're the mom and dad at Pride for obviously we're our own kids' mom and dad, but I think it's nice for people who don't have familial support to see us out there supporting our kids, especially when they were this age. it's nice. So I wanted to make sure that I included that as well. This says Marsha walked, so we could strut, acknowledging that Pride started because of Stonewall, and Stonewall was a riot that started because a Black trans woman decided that she had had enough, and so I like to acknowledge the history of Pride. Going to work on the back side now, and I love this Don't Hide Your Pride. I needed to incorporate it somewhere in this album. It made me so happy. If you look closely, you can see that Joe's eyes are, he's got rainbow eyeshadow on. We were very proud. I was very proud of being able to do that. Not great with makeup, so it was super cute that how it came out. Gonna put this little flag and celebrate Pride here. Then my little bisexual heart. And yeah, we're just moving our way along this page. It's really coming together. Just adding little bits and pieces here. I could not decide how I wanted to decorate the actual cover, so I put that Love Always Wins on the front, but it just didn't feel done to me. So now I've got it flipped back over again, and I'm adding in the last finishing touches. I wanted to add some of these stars, but the way that I ended up putting them both down, they were both facing the same way, and even though, yes, I know you might not look at those two pages together, it really didn't make me happy, so I wanted both stars to face different ways, so I adjusted this one and then turned this one around. Just little things for me. All right. A little more heart love. I love all these little hearts from Citrus Twist. I use them all the time. I need lots and lots more. Okay, so I'm closing it up and flipping through to finalize the album. I decided to add the date, of course. It was 2018. And then I'm going to add Knox Parade to that Pride. So it says Knox Pride Parade. And then I'm just going to flip through, see if I want to add anything else to any of these pages. I decided I wanted to add a label here to explain why I had those signs. And then I wanted another heart or two here just to make it cute. And then the last thing that I decided is that I need sequins because this cover is boring. So initially I put down all these purple sequins, and then I decided it was too much. Overwhelming how big these sequins were on this cover, so I pulled some off and added some smaller see-through ones and some stars. And this is the album all done. You can see how freaking adorable it is. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There's a link in the description box below to the Fierce collection if you'd like to pick up your own copy, and I will see you next time. Thank you.